Hi guys, it's me, just Winston again, and Los Locos to your eyes, Los Locos to your face, Los Locos to your balls into outer space. Yes, indeed, I will get to them in a moment. Right now, I'm going to be talking about this movie from the 80s, Short Circuit 2. And I'm sorry I'm getting into it right now, but I would have done that for my birthday month, but certain things happened where I it was in an adult party, and I kept getting a mild heat stroke from it. For me, outdoors in 90-degree weather, so my body can't handle the heat. So I had to recover, and sorry I had to bring it this movie review late, but I got a few others too that I'm going to talk about. Anyway, I decided to cover this movie first, rather than the original, because the original was, I felt it was more scary than this one. And second of all, this one takes place in New York City, my birthplace. So I figured that it'd be kind of fun to talk about this one first. And as you can tell here, the two covers are very different. They both involve Johnny Fire, the robot, played by Tim Brady, which does the voice and the puppeteering. Now, a quick little note about that is that I always thought that the guy would just shove his hand right into the abdomen of Johnny Five, and then work with the wiring and stuff from there. I didn't think for a second that it'd be better for it to do it by remote control. So, besides for that, anyway, besides that, the movie is awesome. And with the little puppeteer robot there, which, let me just say right now that I think that when Disney made the movie WALL-E, they used this as the inspiration for the robot WALL-E. I mean, it's obvious from the track locomotion here to the face, the eyebrows. Yeah, this is definitely WALL-E 1.0 with WALL-E 2.0 or 3.0. Even the arms to it, like the Disney character. So there should be some copyright infringement going on here. But let's see. I like the main cover of the disc thing here, the main cover, because it's visible more the DVD than the box cover, if you will. It's more technologically sound and stuff. But as you can tell, this movie was mainly idiots. So, Johnny Five, by design, doesn't have all the features you would expect from a more modern robot. The curves, more aerodynamic design. I mean, hell, the main character even says that his memory includes 500 megabytes, which I'm sure that back in the 80s, 500 megabytes was like this huge big deal, like you think nothing can ever surpass that amount of that memory. But because of Moore's law, which said that every year or so, processing power doubles. So by this point, now 500 megabytes would be equivalent to be about a couple thousand terabytes of internet base. So that'd be the equivalent of back then. Like 1,000 megabytes is a big deal, especially because right now you can just buy a CD or blank DVD or something and just burn wherever you want to it. Now, from the first movie, they took away his laser because the deadly laser was part of it. Designed as a military robot, being designed to kill and search and destroy and that kind of thing. So they put Stephanie and Newton gave the robot like a parachute and a grappling hook, which come into play later on in the movie. But this is more like a more kid-friendly version of EK5 until later again in the movie. Which, yeah, I'll get to it when we get to it. But for right now, we talk about Ben Tahavi, played by Fisher Stevens. Now, if you know the movie, you know that both movies, you know that Ben is of Indian descent, from India, and Fisher Stevens is a white man. So he puts on a really thick and annoying accent, which, okay, it's very racist and very insensitive to Indian people, but I tend to have more personal hatred for that accent. You see, my Uncle Darius, God bless him, does that accent. Just to be annoying, but he thinks it's cool to be annoying like that. In fact, his daughter, which has the patience of a saint, actually, and so do I too, for that matter, had to deal with his accent all the time. In fact, for my birthday, guess how he said happy birthday to me? In that same fucking accent, which I find really aggravating, really racist and annoying too. Even my father, his brother, said that it's really annoying and childish. To which I say, also, when you do your Asian accent, it's okay, but when he does his Indian accent, that's the line that's being crossed. So yeah, I really hate that accent. So anyway, Ben goes to New York City, trying to make a life for himself. He tried to sell miniatures of Johnny 5, as he previously known as Saint Number 5. Now, he used to work for Nova Robotics, which designed and built and ordered the destruction / construction and destruction of the robots, as per government tradition and all that cover up that jazz. So, there are people that find out about him through his work on novel robotics. And keep in mind, this is before the internet, so people had to use books and word of mouth and good old-fashioned research to find out about things like this. So they had to run them out the hallway. But my question is, if you're going to go going from Montana with no robotic with 5 million for that, and you might make a new life is new to you. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, right? Why make a toy that's a carbon copy of your prized possession, friend, and all that? Wouldn't that be too much time for people to hunt you down and find you, especially if you were working for the government at one point? Wouldn't it make sense to make another toy or another something or other that wouldn't directly tie you to a government program or government entity? So anyway, they showed that this toy, one of the toys, goes on a little journey of its own, by which it goes across the street in New York City, trying to hide toys with this guy named Fred Ritter, played by Michael McKean. And before I continue on with it, God bless Michael McKean in this movie, because he plays Fred as a sweet, smart, fast-talking con man, kind of like our president. I wish if Trump didn't have $1 million or $1 billion or whatever amount that I gave him, this would be his character. Cheesy suit, bad hair, trying to sell stuff on the street, like fake Rolexes, etc. So anyway, they had him hugging toys with this guy. That's not a big mouth comment. So you speak to him while talking. Little mini Jennifer goes across town in like a very weird way. Across the street with no problem. Doesn't get run over by anybody. Goes into a department store. Boy, I sure wish we had those around here. Same with Radio Shack, which came here later on, which God bless the 80s. I wish that we still had Radio Shack. But unfortunately, we changed a long time ago. Anyway, it goes across the street in the middle of a crowd of people and stuff. Now, I'm a New Yorker. I find this particularly annoying, this to talk about New Yorkers in particular not looking down at wherever they go around the ankles of people passing by and stuff. I don't know, it might just be me, or because of my height in the scooter or the wheelchair I'm driving, or it might be the fact that disabled people have more of an awareness of spatial dimensions and whatnot. But I take notice to see what's on the ground. To make sure I'm running over, make sure there's no little kids in the way, there's no animals in the way or whatever. So I try to pay more attention to that. But these people, they don't pay much attention to this little toy robot just moving on down the road. Except for some women in the changing room at one of the doors. and some people in an elevator, which I have to question about that too, because usually when you're in a changing room, men or women's rooms, they tend to be in the corner or the back of a main department store or a store in general. So so how does the robot go in there and then make a U-turn and come back out? You know, they only go a strict time. Also, this funny scene in which a guy tried on his shoes. That's normal. The funny is, the guy is wearing long pants, business suit, but he's wearing pantyhose, black pantyhose. So, unless this guy is from the, Joe's apartment, that's kind of unusual. It might be a spitting trend or something. And nobody thinks to pick up this robot and see who it belongs to. Except the guy at the tried to pull the women's clothes that dragged with it. Which, by the way, that's a real strong robot to be able to pull the boa and a dress on the floor. Cleanly, by the way. No dust or fur on top of that. So anyway, goes upstairs and crosses into this woman's office. Her name is Sandy in the movie, played by Cynthia Gibb. I don't know if she's related to Andy Gibb of the disco band, the guy who sing live, Bee Gees, yeah, Bee Gees. I don't know if she's like that, but whatever. So anyway, you have to do that. She finds out she's a feeling toy market person, and everything she tries to sell was a bomb. So 25 rules by, and she said ching, and she tells the boss to go. The boss tells her to go find the source of this thing. So then she could go across and find Ben with Fred talking about stuff. And it clicks with him that he can mass produce these little mini Jellyfies for a lot of money and stuff. A lot of bucks. Like 50 grand at least. So, right now, Ben's working on his old Nova truck. Again, you gotta make a new life for yourself. Why you have to use the same vehicle that is not traceable whatsoever back to Nova Corporation or Nova Tech or whatever it was in the first movie? It's like you leave in a jailbreak comes the government to say, we want you back. We're gonna get you back. So, whether you get elected or not, we're getting you back. So, Fred actually knows a few people, a few loan sharks, if you will. Mean guy, a bad hombre, if you will, who loans him a hell of a bunch of money that he wants to get for to buy up a warehouse. And may I just say that this is the cleanest warehouse in the whole New York City, because there's plenty of dust everywhere. but not a single rat or roach to be seen anywhere. It's almost so clean that you can eat off the floor. Anyway, he hires a few people, like a few homeless people, and this and that, with the promise of Rolexes. No doubt the price maker or something, to build these toys. And Ben and Fred end up living in there, which is kind of an upgrade for Ben, because he used to live in the truck, but now he can't live in the truck, and it's only a room in the big warehouse. So, as they're setting up shop, if you will, big guess you could call a big show of diamonds comes into the bank next door, called the Vanderbilt Collection. It's like the show big thing. It's kind of like the equivalent to the Crown Jewel of England. Not as big, but it's still a big deal. And the bank's owner, guy named Oscar Baldwin, not really to Alec Baldwin, he's a legend, but he played by Jack Lesson. He wants the jewels for himself to sell in the black market or whatever. He hired two guys named Saunders and Jones, played by Dean McCafferty and Joe Humbles. I don't even need the name in the movie, but they play those two guys respectively. Now also, no, I should say that Michael McKean, I would confuse him with Jeffrey Jones from Beetlejuice. Two guys look similar, I guess. Only Jeffrey Jones got in trouble for child pornography, and rightly so. And we're thinking of in Gildas too, by the way. But Michael McKean is a legend in this movie. I don't care what else he plays in, he will always be very rare to me. So anyway, Oscar hired two guys to rough up people in the warehouse, and they rough them up, and they scare them away the workforce. So that's back to Fred and Ben doing the work of making thousands of these little mini cave hides. Now, one thing that I never picked up as a kid was that they have a foreshadowing. And what I mean by that is that in the scene where they show Fred getting the money from the loan shark, he has like a kind of like how should I put this, like a knockoff rock and roll song that's supposed to be like this badass, like the bad boy song, and that will become useful later on when Johnny Five tried to take Randall Oscar and the two goons that he got working for him. And there's also a part where I don't get into the patch outside, whatever, but we'll put past it. Also, first thing one of the goons actually beats up smashed one of the little Johnny Five figurines robot with his axe crowbar. So that's also not what goes on in the real part of the movie. So anyway, they get scared these people because the guys want to use the basement to the house to try to tunnel into the bank vault and then destroy it and then get into it and steal the diamonds for themselves. So they scare the workers. They try to scare Fred and Ben away too. But right after they try this and they scare the people, a big package comes up to the door. Now, normally they would say that you have to sign for the big package, especially when the human size and like all of this other stuff, but apparently they say to leave it outside, because the two men are afraid that these two ruffians are going to come back and finish what they started in a wreck house or kill them or something. So they gotta leave the package here unsigned for, and they're like, what the hell is this thing? So then it starts the package starts dancing into the room, into the warehouse. So I'm unaware if Johnny Five were real, if he could really hop up and down like that, let alone in a big heavy box like that. But it's movie wear. So then, when they open the damn thing, it comes in a flood of those packing peanuts. Which I don't care what anyone says. I want those peanuts. The pig flying. That's tragic and stuff. Much to my mother and father's ire. So you see, how did you say how that no, they don't have it on here, but and then we get the introduction of Johnny Five. Formerly seat number 5. Got Johnny Five here in the back with a little dungaree jacket on and with a nice little rainbow sticker on the all of his on here. Very sweet, very nice, very loud. So he said that in Stephanie's voice from the first one, LCD, her name is, which could be in this movie because we're filming something else, some other TV show, and that Newton by Gutenberg. He could be in the movie for whatever reason, and they end up trying to tell him that they were shipping in New York and that they can help them out with all their needs, with all the manufacturing needs of the many Johnny Fives, and not following that out of the warehouse article, not looking for input. Now, this doesn't make much sense because how would Ben, unless called off screen, how would he be able to communicate with the two people up there who are bosom with Ben, who are friends with Johnny Five and stuff? How would they know that he needs help with building toys? And how would they know he's in New York City and his address? So, yeah, you turn them over there, And another thing too, if they say that they see Johnny Five, going to New York City, there you go, there's your problem there, you they can't send the robot to anywhere else in the country without the robot looking up information about New York City. It's gotta be a bookstore somewhere in Montana that sells books on the location where they're gonna be sending him. It's not like sending a rabbit to Albuquerque. Like you, it's obviously gonna have access to information about the city. How he was another robot. He could easily get information from the then primitive, I'm sure, like internet. Only used for like government services at that point, or some kind of other computer database or something. So the fact that he wouldn't know anything about the city or where he's going doesn't make any lick of sense whatsoever. But anyway, and also another thing, keeping him indoors as it will see is an impossibility because he gets out, explore the city. Wish I could do that, but whatever. So they show him working on toys and to the song now to the grapevine. Then hanging on the grapevine. Some of the California's reason saying, I forgot what it is. Something to the grapevine. So anyway, it's all happy and all that stuff because the entire world is now in the warehouse. In this center, Ben, his co-creator, along with Newton, and he thinks that Fred is trustworthy. So, anyway, Fred finds out about how much Johnny Five is worth at one point. Oh wait, before that, Johnny Five actually gets loose in the world and goes into the Los Locos gang. And then they do the little chant in front of people. I have no idea who they're singing this to, or if I were in a gang, the last thing I would want is to say, "Hey yo, I'm in a gang. Let's sing a song about it. Let's sing a song about getting arrested by the cops. Let's use language like Los Locos kick your ass. Los Locos kick your face. Los Locos kick your balls into outer space." That's a good message for kids. And I would love for any parent to hear that and see what they would do. Excuse me, I got a group of people who like MS-113 that boosting car reviews and such, and yet they do end up trying to trick Johnny Five into boosting cars and robbing cars with jails and stuff. Which is really funny because he's one of those type of characters like the genie, which means up to that point pop culture references like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and and like Rogers' Neighborhood the comments on the sky done like done like Mr. Manic, which is I'm mad and all this stuff for car parts and things, and like commercial ad stuff, stuff like that. So in any case, he boosts like 10 cars, and then it gives them all to the Los Locos gang. But the real funny part is that all the gang members, all the cars they boost from, their alarms still go off. So I don't know where the police are or why they haven't called up to them yet. But apparently they all got away scot-free. Which I find really funny. And because they did this for them, it would kind of like got initiated into the most PG-13 gang in the world. We don't rape people, we don't gang people, we don't sell drugs or trafficking sex. We just boost car reviews and use mildly bad language. That's very funny. So anyway, they also they mark him. They mark J5. And when that is that they do they give them spray tags, and they call it they tattoo him by using very colorful spray paint on different parts of his body and stuff, which I find that very funny. That it's kind of like a direct opposition to the happy face sticker, the rainbow sticker that he applied in there. Be more kid friendly, like the when Los Locos get on there, it's more like a hard ass, like real gangster wannabe type, that type of person. But really, he's sweet and he's innocent and naive, that kind of thing. So then Oscar ends up meeting him and taking him to Ben, which gives him a very stern talking to. And Oscar's have remarkable days and blah blah blah. Kissing giant little top ass. A trained middle class, if you will. So anyway, they show that the two guys, Saunders and Jones, go back to the warehouse and see that these two guys are doing well for themselves. Building a couple toys and all that, like a little army toy, like a little army man. So then you see 25 over there saying, "Sorry man, we're close for business." And then they attack Johnny Five with crowbars, and like, sorry, you are bad humans. And then he catches the crowbar one hand and starts swinging the guys around with red eyes. That means that he means business. And he said no, he's gonna show him how difficult force works. It's really funny because he showed him swinging around and stuff with the word bad humans coming out and with the red eyes and all that. But the thing is that given his body type and the fact that he's mostly on low, floor treads here, the bottom part of the plot thread on here. The fact that he stands on the front wheel of that and the back wheel kind of leads me to believe that wouldn't be possible. Because we have to support himself like that. But I believe he'd be able to do just that. But if you apply it, we have the two guys with him too. That's gotta be at least 300, 400 pounds in addition to that. Plus a quarter rather than a circle. So that would lead me to believe that J5 would tip over in that case. So they get ejected and they don't make another appearance until later on in the film. So in the meantime, Johnny Five comes up with a Rube Goldberg type of security system that made the Venom trigger made that Johnny Five was able to keep the bus out of town to get him off for a little while. And he tried desperately to help Ben with getting with Sandy. And let's see here, it also showed that he obsessive input still. When he escaped the first time, well, when he escaped the second time, I should say, he goes to a bookstore and wreaks havoc in there. And he's one of the robot can read like let's say a 1,000-page book in like 30 seconds, which is really weird because he takes the book of Frankenstein and Pinocchio and he reads that very slowly. Well, it's like in this instance where he beats it into beggars without sweating. That's possible for a robot. But then later on in the movie, he gets ambushed from behind and he gets taken down pretty quickly. Might be looking to pluck convenience that he can be defensive whenever he wants to, but in the man that gets beaten up really. Anyway, let's leave on when he gets free again because he wants to blend in with people. So they give him like a hat with a big trench coat and stuff, and he goes around town like that until he goes into a religious building, a church, and it's exactly leads to many questions and more things like did we create ourselves, for that? Because some would say that we are like pretty much God's pets. We are God's robots, so since He created us and our organs and bones and whatnot, like skeletal systems and stuff, and we're like little mini organic robots and things. So there could be a lot of questions about that. But no, the priest kicks him out and said that he thinks that somebody else is controlling him and that he called the cops on them and he's still under the impression that he's alive, like you, me, or anybody else. Same with the priest. The priest thinks that is just a robot, and he's like to think that he's alive. Kind of like I know I heard that argument before too, and tried to use the Indian writing too. Anyway, they tried to, they put him in cuffs and stuff. Police do. They drag him out with the evidence. Now, this is real funny, but, they locked him in the area below with all the evidence and with all the property of criminals and whatnot. Whereas you can just break out those cuffs and require it because he's so strong. So he does that. And then, at one point, Fred, Mr. Morass, tried to sell Johnny Five for $11 million. Now, I'm sure that $11 million was a big deal back then. And it's come from the 80s myself. But, if you have a military grade robot that looks like this, or as Fred would say, like a human-sized grasshopper, I don't think it looks like a grasshopper. If anything, it looks like a praying mantis. Fred's. The lower half of his body is $11 million. But I believe that they were implying that the bottom portion is where it's held. And in any case, that wouldn't be no $11 million. It'd be $11 million just for one of the hands or arms or something. The entire package would be something like $500 million. And in any case, Fred ends up trying to sell him for that much money, to which Johnny Five was dreadfully pissed off. And then he's pissed off too that Fred traded some for that much money. But in any case, he flew out the window and he gliding with a hand glider put in the utility pack there. And it's really funny that happened because he goes from an inverted position, rolls out the hand glider to where he can now fly and glide down to the ground to safety. Number one, if that were really happening, that parachute that hand glider would come apart. Second of all, that's not how it works. If he was somehow able to write himself, that parachute couldn't, that hand glider couldn't handle his weight. He's got to weigh a ton, or a half a ton maybe. And that wouldn't, he was still plummet like a stone. So even if the hand glider was intact. Anyway, he goes over there and he lands in like a weird sculpture garden for like modern art. And I think this is where you find the local gang. And then gets really pissed off at him. And he says we're fucking probably the only F-bomb in the movie. So let's see here. Yeah. He also has a weird antenna to fuck with radio signals and stuff. Comes in quite handy when you can't. So anyway, after the goons try breaking in, they get ejected again And if to do it right, they want to take out, they could take out two guys, then, while the robots win. And they gotta assault the robot while they got a chance. So then, Johnny Five tries to, romance, Ben tries to romance Sandy, while J5 is over there trying to give him words of advice and wisdom from many, input sources like poetry and whatnot. And even Benny, him seeing Frankenstein and Pinocchio. I didn't actually read Pinocchio, but I read Frankenstein. And I gotta say that it does apply to this plot, because Frankenstein was a man-made creature that was developed and got life. Kind of like Johnny Five. Johnny Five originally was a man-made robot, automaton if you will. But then he got hit by lightning and then he got rewrite bad, and he became a sentient creature. Nobody likes him and understands him because he's got the shell of a robot. Now that I think of it, this could actually be a statement about transgenderism as well, too, because you feel like you're a different person, but you're trapped into a different shell. So like Johnny Five, he believes that he's a live creature, but he's stuck into the robot shell to give him more of a organic appearance. Anyway, Ben understands this, and goes on date with Sandy, and Johnny Five manipulates a light board to give Ben advice on what to say and stuff. And of course it gets fucked up because a cat thinks that little antenna on his head is like a mouse or lizard toy, whatever. So he ends up miscommunicating with Ben. But I think that laser would come in handy now. Not just for the cat, but to distract me now. That told him alone. Because the little antenna would attract the cat to it. And then it's also blocked batteries of balloons too. Tall balloons. That's pretty funny. So anyway, Ben seemed to hit off with Sandy eventually, to the point that they went on a second date at it. Now, Ben also does the type about not understanding human emotions and thoughts and social awkward, and can't do certain afraid to mess up any idioms, but that's the typical foreigner guys. But he's been in the country for so long, doing Nova robotic stuff. You would think he would be a citizen by then or whatever, unless they also incorporate illegals and whatnot to do the work, what the other government agencies do. So anyway, they have two guys. They have Johnny Five Beans, we talked about Oscar, who gives them the book, and the first thing input they would read carefully the second time. And anyway, that means would go through when an hour would be done, and then rather than 5 seconds. But the question I have is, how can you flip through the pages so quickly with robotic hands that don't even feel? That you would think it would rip up the pages. So anyway, he gets on China's sweet side, and while he's out of the warehouse, the thugs capture Ben and Fred, and dump him into a Chinese fast food place's meat locker or store locker. Now the thing is that when Ben hits the floor, I'm like shocked as shit to see a frozen chicken on the floor. To where I say, why are you getting freaked out over a damn chicken? He didn't eat. There is a lot of chickens all the time. You know, it's not like a piece of beef or whatever. And second of all, when anyone from the restaurant knows 4 guys went into their meat locker and no one could come out, and you find that they're like, you try yourself number 5. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that you love him as a friend and all this stuff. And they patch it up, but then they try to knock their way out of there. And then they quickly regret it because the doors have been locked. Even though they don't really pound on them too hard, they don't really scream too loud to let other people hear them. So while this is happening, Johnny is over there with Oscar digging through the ground to find out about the main vault in the basement of the warehouse. So I wonder how Johnny even gets down there. I mean, he does the treads, but there are stairs that lead down there. I know from my community that treads, wheels, and stairs don't really mix too well. So he goes down there and he's digging in the rocks to keep the big bolt on the other side. Now, yeah, this is a weird scene because he looks down and he's vibrating and stuff. I don't like the way this is going too well. It looks like something else. Anyway, he ends up digging right through to the other side, and then when the big wolf falls down, says, "Lucy, I'm home." I love Lucy. And then Oscar says, "Open this door. Open this lock to the Bigfoot." So the Bigfoot with the Vanderbilt collection in there. And Johnny's got this multi-key thing there, like this big shaped let me have it out here. Like maybe don't find this big like a Swiss Army knife of green. You get that when you disarm the laser, think that would be something that needs to go to, so that he wouldn't get into trouble like this. Meanwhile, Ben and Fred are over there freezing the butts off, and they have Sandy come and help them out. She can't do Morse code, and she thinks that Ben's sort of up on the second date. So they do like let's put this like he did like technically like calculator musical notes on there and do like famous songs and she gets the message and to go to a very smart cab driver which knows everything from she gets from the black market from all musical things from ABBA to ZZ Top. Yeah, I remember that line from the movie all the way from back then. So anyway, she did the singing these songs, 16 Candles, Do What a Day, that kind of thing, in the musical calculated form because apparently she's smart and so is he. Lucky. So because two guys that pretty much have frozen already, you think there'd be some other way to get out, but they get out that way after being almost half dead. They go over to the same police precinct that Johnny was arrested in the first part of the movie, and get rid of Johnny retreat with Oscar having the diamond collection, and then they want to get rid of the witness Johnny Five because he can't testify against them. So they try to run over a car, and then they don't succeed in that. But the thing is that if Johnny knows that these guys want to run over and kill him, why doesn't he just go into the building or like a narrow alleyway or something? You know, he goes into like the park area along the sides of the roads and all that, so the car can get to them, and then the two guys can get them easily. So he runs away into a near tree, and then picks up. And Oscar's like, where did he go? So, well, he got diamonds in his hand. Well, he's got he got the diamonds in the car, and meanwhile, Ben is arrested because he thinks that he stole the diamonds or involved with the diamonds, and he gets arrested too. Fred outside taking piss or something. So anyway, he's like, he lives alone with J5. Well, he rescued J5 later on, but anyway, the guy picks up Oscar by the armpits. The thing, meanwhile, he told the two guys to come back behind him. Now, I don't know the way this is set up because he says to go behind him and attack him from behind using Pig Latin of all things. Now, this is actually really weird because Johnny Five knows multiple languages from English, French, Spanish, well, good locals and German among many of them, sure. But I wish that it would give them some kind of knowledge about Pig Latin. So then, help us to help me. So nobody else sees this. So the two guys attacked Jennifer from behind and knocked the ground onto the ground, and meanwhile Oscar's beat him up, kill him. And it was that Saunders, the tech guy in this outfit, is much more about preserving Jennifer's life and wanting to take the robot instead of the diamonds. We'll take them both. Meanwhile, Jones don't give a shit. Jones just wants to get rich. Doesn't care about anything else but that. Doesn't care about the robot or anything like that. Meanwhile, Saunders doesn't have a point. So then, when the two guys are beating up on Jennifer, it's very heart-wrenching and very bad. And we got to know him and love him as her icon. But more stuff just all the first movie. You don't want anything bad to happen. But it does. Really so. But one thing I noticed is that Saunders, the more savvy guy, whenever he attacks Jennifer with his axe, he tends to make non-lethal blows on him. His arm goes and gets him in the tread. And the only exploit he does lethal Jennifer is his belly pack. So look to the right above. That's it. Right here. Oh, right here. And the other guy gets him in the eye. Gets him in the other parts of the torso area. So it's very heart-wrenching. Until Jennifer's last moment of desperation, uses his radio antenna to call for help from the local remote control plane enthusiasts out there that end up a bunch of planes out for him. And I would love it if they played right up the Valkyries during this part. They don't do some original work. Music, I think it's pretty good. But then they have him attacking the guy, the Red Baron, and then they show and then getting Jones right in the butt one as he ran away. And they show Jennifer all beaten and bruised going and just hovering by, and his little pal is almost dying and stuff, and he's bleeding out from all the bad fluid being lost and stuff. It's very heart-wrenching for a robot, for something that weighs longer in the first place. It's very sad. It's like your pet rock dying and bleeding out and dying. But since the Fed survived and it's free now, he run into him and then ends up going to retinal ward. I'm dying, even though he just a robot dying and something to fix him in the Radio Shack. So at first he gets his voice box working again, and then he gets the robot back off the exhaust power. He gets some like die-hard battery. I don't know if die-hard was a real battery pack line or if it was just a thing for the movie, but it's a pretty cool battery. So anyway, they have Johnny Fiber revitalize himself because he says, "Hello, baby," a song by somebody. So cool because always the beep of the timer going down, and then Fred's gotta fix it by using his silk shirt to bandage the wound up, and it's still quite sad because he made a big deal over the silk shirt and stuff. Meanwhile, when he faces them, it's like he's a friend now because he gave him a shirt off his back for delivery, and it shows that he patches the eye with an eye patch. He gives himself a little mohawk, and he also has a chains on his body now. So he's the bad Johnny playing the same music from the bar from the guy was playing billiards, long shot. Some guys, what do you think you're gonna do? Like about 10 days. What do you think you're gonna do to these guys? And he picked him up. He's a life form's gotta do what a life form's gotta do. And he just functionality. And then he talks in weird type voice. Almost like you that. It's like speaking backwards. That look, the demon talk straight. What are you gonna do to the guys? And look, when he goes inside, look, vehicle tire tracks, and you can it's supposed to be a piece of cake, can of corn. I have no idea what can of corn is, but whatever. So, yeah, I can follow him out. When my mother was a holiday sin, that's not accurate. His mother was an overbody builder. So anyway, they show him following the guys around. And this is funny because it's in a sword. And you know what I'm singing? That's the first said. You know what I'm singing? And you know what this flew by? So he gets the car, goes underneath the car, and then he spins around using a mail cover. And it's like really funny because he ends up doing like a Jewish stereotype with French guys, even though he crashed the car over one car into a van, and they're able to get up and fight Johnny too, and they're able to fight him down with crowbars, and you get that. The funny thing is that they know that they tied the robot Helen, especially a pistol off. They know that they're coming in kick their butts. He even takes the crowbar and just bend it. Michael Monkey's like, yeah, Johnny. And he said to Oscar, watch Dink. I have no idea what that means. What Dink means. It could be like with Biff and some bitch on top of the head. And Uncle dead. But I have no idea what it means. I'm assuming it's the insult of the time. But yeah. Until he punches Fred in the gut and runs away. And I'll never forget, he said, drop 5 Oscar. And we the two guys end up he ends up slaying Jones into a hay bale, and the other guy, Saunders, he wraps him in a tin fence like a big taco, and he also speaks Spanish, which I'm sure covers lots of locals, and I'm sure it's not a very good term, because I don't know what it means. I'm sure it's good. And then you get this thing with this for right hand. Then you call him a smug. The smell. Which I always find adorable whenever they curse it in other languages. So then they do you chase them around and stuff. And you got chase Oscar around. Now you would think that Oscar would get in a car or something, or Leon drives a boat. They drive very close to the pier where Johnny Five is. And we're imagining that to get away from the G5. I would think they would go as far away from the coastline as you can with a boat. But no, he doesn't do that. Just go within a striking distance of Johnny Five. So, yeah. It's funny because during this whole sequence they play the song Holding Out for Hero, which is the first thing that I think I'm going to get in that song. Forget about Shrek 2, although that was pretty funny, but when Johnny Five does it, he says, you are not going to, Oscar, you are not going to get away. I'm really pissed off. And that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to piss off a giant 4-foot tall war machine with the brain of a computer. So, they show him doing that thing with the grappling hook from before. He does with a magnet thing. Which, by the way, they never actually say that Johnny Five is full of lead. So, in theory, if the bad guys want to disable him or kill him outright, it would just they would just hit him with a very powerful magnet, something like the tech guy would know how to disable Johnny Five if he knew if it was worth its salt. So they end up doing this, and Johnny Five also does one of the Marty McFly type thing, in which he gets a ride on a fast moving truck which happens to go in the same direction as Oscar. Lucky. So you see him kind of hobbling along, trying to catch up with Oscar on the boat. And I like the way Michael McKean hopped on Johnny Five like a motorcycle, I was actually fun. Kind of like my mother was Harley Davidson. And I was also mentioned that Mr. Rogers were talking about my dummies. And I'm real. I'm flexible. I'm real. You're made of wood and fiber and all that. You're fake. Johnny Five is fake. But anyway, they did show that Johnny Five is. I'm gonna get you out. If it's a lot that you do, you want to hit hard get the ring out literally because the baby's almost dead. He got like 5 minutes left, but he that us to go like Tarzan very conveniently. I might add, if Oscar had driven the boat 5 feet to the left away from the dock, he would have got away from it. J5, but because he was so stupid, Johnny Five was able to swing down and pick him up, and then we were able to float together into a trash heap. How much fun would it be if Johnny Five, instead of falling next to him, crushed his little head under the weight of his massive shreds of justice? And that would have been funny. We've been talking a while, but it would have been funny. And said, why are you punishment? Punishment from God? To where Johnny should have said, I used to be a saint, but now I'm a fallen saint. That would have been badass. I'm sorry, but if that offended anyone who was just filmed, that would be badass. So anyway, Ben and Sandy get on the cop's good side and convince them that at the end still Jewel. And follow them over there. And then the paramedics come by, and Ben is trying to shock Johnny with the little defibrillator pedals. And even Johnny Five says, if I lose power to my memory, I die. So that makes sense in the context of the movie. But in reality, it doesn't make much sense. Because this computer that I'm recording on right now, if we unplug it, you did according to by mistake. If I would unplug this machine, and it worked well, just if I were just to lose power on it and it would go stone cold dead, and then would re-plug it in, nothing would be lost. I don't think it would still function the same way, but because he thinks he's alive, and he thinks that if his power is cut altogether, I'll die. Much different when he said disassemble, which he equates to dying for flushing and other creatures like us. Said that if I lose power, I die. That doesn't make sense, but for some reason he said, goodbye, Benjamin, my friend, and eyes closed to all the time. It's its eyebrow flopped close to the first time for the last time too. It's weird because he was able to get the eye flops himself, but he couldn't fix the killing lens eye that he had, which was a cool effect too. In which when guy hit him with cowboy in the eyeball, his eyes opened up wide, kind of like a humans would if the something happened. If I got hammer in the eye, I probably would have the same reaction. So anyway, they show Ben, for some reason, come on, Jennifer, come on, Yard, do it, come on. Now, I thought for a long time that when Ben called him Yard, I thought it was like some kind of like badass type nickname that he did, being that he transformed into the bad guy. Even though he was never really present during the whole transformation sequence. Maybe just told him about it. But that was like really weird that he referred to him as Yard. Maybe when I saw him in the movie, he never referred to himself as Yard. There was no mention of the word Yard. There was probably no Indian term that translates into Yard. So like, and how would the word Yard from? Maybe that was something that was the first movie. I don't think so, but maybe it was. Can you guys tell me where that came from? Where the word Yard came from? Or the name was special from the first movie or whatever. So anyway, he's like, please come on, yeah. And then he puts it on that room, and you see lightning effect come up from the brain, from his crotch area to his eyebrow and stuff. And then he slowly come back to, and he's like, I got such a headache. And I love the 25. You hug them and kiss them and squeeze them and keep that power on, the power of the cream. Now you would think that a high-tech machine like that would solve main whatever would have a little more battery power than was presented to us in the movie. But it's a movie they got him die somehow. Anyway, they have to have some way to legitimately be a legitimate threat to this immortal night robot. So that's fine. So then they present they present Fred and Teddy as something like a big deal, a big merger in the company and stuff, that he's gonna be mass produced and stuff. So we just wait a minute, then if we get in the car, I have to tell you something. So why couldn't they wait until after they both get in the car together and go to this the citizenship thing with Ben and with Janet, Johnny Blood. Now with new golden aura monthly. I think Trump might design that on C3PO. So anyway, it's the judge says it's my privilege to give the first citizenship right to Mr. J5 a robot. This is how AI takes over everything. They first they start out of events, then they demand more rights, then they think that they become equal to us, and then they take over. So then they say, so help me God, like in Yellow Season's speech. I never took it, but I don't have to. But if you bring religion to this thing, yeah, God created man, and they created robots. So does that mean that God is technically the grandfather of robots and robotics? So that means that Bender has a grandfather too. Well, that really is quite curious. So this also means a good question about citizenship of robots, and if let's say they do a crime or treat a thing or something, are they protected by the U.S. law, Constitution, where if there's like a robot uprising and stuff, they consider seditious or whatever else, or if there's robot revolution or robot protest or this or that, and then robot prostitution, legal or illegal. If they're the same as us, you think they'd be equally. At first, I always think that the robots are slaves and they don't deserve the same courtesy with the human to please, thank you, and all that stuff. Anyway, what asked Johnny what it's like to how you feel. Where Johnny says, I feel alive, and then jumps up into the freeze frame. Boy, he's unlocking a lot more memory to be able to fit in expand the 500 megabytes to fit any amount of information in there now. Because I know that when you get full, they tend a hard drive ends up going slowly and all that stuff. You need to have reads of the information into other ports and flash drives and etc. etc. Also, I noticed that when he had the treads on, they were cool too, but he didn't have any dirt on the treads themselves. And how it worked out. Might be like a new car at a new dealership. Meaning which, there's no mention of the Lost Locals gang in there either. I'm sure they would like to steal some giant gold plate. Yeah, let me talk about some of pop culture things with this. Because one thing that they do have in the movie, they have like a symbol for Johnny 5 carried over from the first movie. That was Nova Robotics, which the toy company and whatever try to look up men and stuff from there. So anyway, which by the way, Ben happened to come into Sandy's office when she'd been yelled at by the boss. Lucky. So anyway, the show the symbol, which is also used in the real life Johnny Five's maker, the symbol. But before that, I used it as a symbol for a birthday cake me and my dad made for the Boy Scouts years ago. But decades ago at this point. So, they made a real life Johnny Five robot, which is a symbol. And, he recently brought in the guy Jim Blaney that provided the voice on the original Puppeteering. Anyway, I made it and I would do this over 20,000 pounds to make it. But it was pretty nice. Full function, same articulation, same everything. And that was really nice. I liked the way it was very much set in the 80s, like with the technology and with the design of Johnny Five, made Angular and looking a little bit like a voice box here. And it was just very interesting. Although I know that making treads on a robot or any vehicle is a lot better and a lot more stable than use the legs. So I'll use that for Johnny Five, because otherwise it would terrifying little kids. And I actually did try to use all parts to make my own Johnny Five way back when in the 90s. But that would be impossible. I just like the way he cobbles together a bunch of stuff to make a bad version of himself. And let's see, there was also the idea that they would make a Short Circuit 3 or make a remake of the first movie with a more streamlined robot. I'm against this because remakes generally suck. They generally suck more than out of space. So I don't know that will work out too well. Besides, the first one was good. The second one was good too. It was quintessentially good, better than the first one. So I think that they should just leave it alone. It's like that if anybody would get the references that were made in the first one, but they might not even know what the first one is. You probably mess up so many things with that. And they might do more modern, up-to-date 2000 plus pop culture references and all that. Or they make reference to the first movie. As for the main actors, these are always going to be my go-to for these actors. Like Fisher Stevens, he will always be Benji Harry for me. Javert and Jack Benson will always be Oscar Baldwin. And Jim Blaine will always be Johnny Five to me. Michael McCain will always be Fred Ritter. And Nancy Gibb will always be Sandy to me. So that was my review of Short Circuit 2. And this movie is was an excellent piece of cheese from the 80s. I love it. And it's like a whole musical track played when Johnny does it, happy dance. Like, ta-da, 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 that kind of thing. Same, it was the same from the first part of the movie with the robot and everything else. It was fun. I thank you for watching my review of Horror Circuit 2. This movie was more family than the original. It's scarier, especially when you say Nova all the time in a very creepy way. And I like this movie because they say that you can do whatever you want in a movie as long as you show them a happy ending. I forgot which director, but seeing this nice, humble, naive robot being a hard lesson you could say like about being too trusting and all that was like really nice. By the way, I want to know about how Johnny Five was able to get out from the basement tunnel that there. It was stairs that went up, going down. How would he get back up again? He doesn't have like R2D2 thrusters in his back pocket. And I'm getting how that equipment could make sense, but the part about the parachute doesn't make sense, or the anchor doesn't make sense. And number one, if you're flying upside down, that thing would rip off. And second of all, even if you were to right yourself and go away, that glider would rip apart and wouldn't be able to support the weight. And another thing too, we see the inside of the little toolbox that Johnny Five uses to hold the glider in, but yet when Fred puts the two books in it, there is no parachute. So where does he have it? It's not like this guy has a lot of storage space on it. And little body barely has enough room to put all in it. But anyway, I give this movie a nice badass silver bowl on its happy face. Cool, because it's awesome. 98. Like, wait, Fred goes from being a con man, trying to tell Johnny Five, being his savior and helper, and then his friend, to like, and just like Ben. And let's see here, pointing out this review is actually going to be about longer than the movie is. Anyway, if you like what you see here and you want more of my videos and stuff, we can like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Or if you want, you can input on my channel. Call me or text me at 631-707-3707. You can follow me on Twitter or X if you prefer at P. Nelson Pro. Also, you can get me on my email at jjviewingchannel gmail.com. So, I would like to salute everyone that's involved with this thing. I recommend that like science fiction, robots, or locally, I guess, and comedies too. This is a brilliant movie, great film movie, and great lesson, a great lesson for little people about naivety and big city life, and helping the different country to the big city, and the yeah, peace out, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video, all you girls and guys in Thailand. By the way, also close Johnny Fiverr, Mitsubishi. You want a Mitsubishi brand of car. And I got a car in the 80s, but I got nonetheless from Japan. Mother Japan. So, I'll see you later. Arrivederci. Ciao, ciao. Sayonara.